So to add routes to our application, first we have to use command npm install react router dom -6 to install your React router. After you have it installed, we can move to coding. First we have really empty app.js file, home and about.js files with really basic styling. We will start with app.js and we will move to the other files a little bit later. Adding router is really simple. Simply write add router, routes, and then define your routes. To define a route, first you have to add a path attribute which tells how to reach this path. Second, you have to define an element which will be rendered. In this case, it's the home component. Also, let's add an about page. For this one, the path will have an additional about word in it, and the element will be our about component. Okay, let's test it in the browser. Our empty path is as defined a home component, and if we add a word about to URL, we reach our about component. Good, our routes are defined, but what if we want to have a button which leads to another page? That is really simple. Let's create a button which will lead us to about page. And now wrap this button with a link component and specify where it will lead with to attribute. Also close this component and import it from react-router-dom. Now let's open our browser and we can see that our home page has a new button. If we click it, we go to about page, and as you can see that our URL changes too. Great. If you want to have a back button to our home page, that is also really simple. Just change to attribute on a link component. Okay, everything is working. Let's say we have some user data and we want to show it in our about page. So first we have to modify our route, which is simple. Just add a column and a parameter you want to be passing, for example, first name. Now in home component, let's update our URL with some code and add our first name in there. I'll just hardcode that in here. And in about component, we are going to use Params Hook from React Router library. This hook will let us easily access all of the parameters that we pass with URL. To access it, add it inside the parentheses parameters.firstname. And now we can see that our about page changes based on the params we add. Great. But what if we still want to access our about page? Currently we can't do that. Nothing is being rendered because our route without params is not defined. Let's add that. This is called nested routes, where you have your main route, in this case our about route, and inside it we can have additional routes, in our case one using parameters. And now we can access about page both with and without parameters specified. And the last thing is, if we want to have a not found page when the route is not defined, we can add it with a router too. Create your not found component you want to show, and in the router add new route where the path is a star. That means any other route except ones defined will lead to our not found component. And as you can see, if we type in the route which is not defined, we get not found component rendered. So that's pretty much basics of the router component, which will help you with your React projects. If you enjoyed this quick tutorial, leave a like, subscribe, and if you have any questions or suggestions, please leave a comment. Thanks for watching, ciao!